Go ahead.
All right, so a lot of you are probably confused about what you're looking at. This is not a historic gun at all, and if you don't care, tune out. But I sort of caused a little bit of a stir on Instagram and maybe Facebook and some other places, and I've gotten a lot of questions in my inbox about what the heck I'm doing. So for those of you who are not on our Patreon or Subscribe Star, during our sort of every other week podcast that May and I talk on, I've been talking about building my Spike Kel-Tec. Now this comes about because I was over at actually C&S Shooting Sports, and I saw a multi-mag on the wall sometime last year, and I said, "Ooh, is that a multi-mag?" And the owner of the place, my buddy Taylor, became wide-eyed because it was the first time I had actually even commented on anything on the walls because it's all modern. And he said, "If the first modern gun I see you buy is a Sub 2000, I'm gonna shit a brick." And so, of course, I had to go buy a Sub 2000. And then the additional challenge was to see if I could get it in a position where he would actually want one. I wanted to see if I could bait him into wanting a Sub 2000. So I got one in, and then I started digging around a lot of these sites that have accessory parts. So Kel-Tec themselves have a lot of parts. M-carbo, there's a ton of that in here. So I highly recommend their trigger pack because that is a radical improvement. If anybody's handled one of these, you know the factory triggers are nothing to write home about. This makes it downright usable. And it's just I've put everything I can think to put in this thing. It's become sort of a running gag. And then also from M-carbo, I found that I didn't like every little thing that they had, so I started using some Red Lion stuff, which actually been in the market for a while. But let's walk through it real quick. First of all, it obviously still folds and latches. That's good. It puts us in a position to use the iron sights, which, as they're set up now, is an M-carbo rear aperture that's much cleaner, and then the Red Lion folding front end, which takes a standard AR sight. In this case, I gave it a little bright orange one. This works out great. But both of these fold down, which is very useful because I have started investigating what I'm going to call the PCSC concept, which means pistol caliber scout carbine. I have managed to put what is actually an inexpensive $55 BSA 2 power scope. I have not tested this setup yet, so I don't know how well it's going to last, but this was literally the only thing I could find that came in a short enough package with the correct eye relief that wasn't like an actual ZF-41 from the war. You'd be amazed at what has been sort of lost technologically. But I have to have that eye relief because I am way back on this thing. And I'm going to be honest, the eye box is really generous. It may actually work out really well. I'm holding off on taking it out and zeroing it and testing it though, because once I got it all together, I realized I could probably shave another 1/4 inch off of the height of this optic. It actually feels perfect the way it is, but I'd rather crowd my face a little bit and keep the extra compactness when it is folded up, because it's just, to me, I don't know, man, I grew up in the 80s, Transformers and Bandai and all that stuff. Thank you, man. Even Voltron, and it's just the idea of something that does this is just too fun. Now, I know a lot of you are going to make fun and say, "Oh, you should have bought X, Y, or Z, or you got all this money in it because yada yada." I just like it. It's sometimes guns are fun, and we do so much serious work around here, and I have to preserve the history of everything. Being able to tinker is a real outlet. Oh, also, final thought, anybody that owns one of these, I made a modification to it when I was using what was then the Midwest Industries wraparound optic mount, which then you have to use a string to hold back this charging handle. Anybody that's doing that scenario, let me tell you, I found a solution for you. You can literally take a Dremel and some cold blue and cut a submachine gun style safety so that when you bring this back, she locks and does not slap off anymore, and it'll never strike that optic when it's wrapped around if you happen to be one of those people. And then even after I got rid of the optic, I actually found I prefer having the submachine gun style safety where it actually locks in and I have to pull and release it. It's just a preference of mine. All right, guys, well, I hope that explains it. Obviously, this is not part of our usual material, but every once in a while you gotta have a laugh.